You know how we completely take gravity for granted? Like you drop your keys, they hit the floor.
Right, yeah, every single time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's this invisible force. It's entirely consistent, and, well, it's just the basic physics of our reality. We don't even question it.
No, we really don't.
But imagine if there was like another invisible force out there, one that is just as consistent, but instead of pulling physical objects to the ground, it pulls specific experiences, people, and opportunities right into your life.
I mean, we are so comfortable accepting physical laws that we cannot see. But the second we start talking about, energetic or psychological laws operating out of plain sight, skepticism usually just takes over.
Oh, absolutely.
People want to see the mechanism. They really want to know the how before they trust the what.
And we are going straight into the mechanics of that today for you.
Right.
We're looking at the architecture of manifestation, which is widely known as the law of attraction.
Yeah, a massive topic.
Huge. And to do this, we are pulling from summaries and direct excerpts of Rhonda Byrne's 2010 book, The Power, which was, the massive follow-up to her cultural phenomenon, The Secret.
Right, The Secret was everywhere.
It really was. We're also utilizing insights from the Bookie app, which kind of breaks down the text into the core psychological frameworks, and the YouTube channel Cliff Note Chronicles. They really focus on the practical application of these ideas.
Before we unpack the mechanics, though, we really need to establish the boundaries for our analysis here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We are not here to scientifically validate the law of attraction or, present it as peer-reviewed physics. Our goal is just to impartially dissect Byrne's philosophy.
Right, just laying out what she actually says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a highly influential framework for personal development. Understanding its underlying logic is incredibly valuable, whether you interpret these concepts literally as cosmic energetic laws or just metaphorically as a really powerful psychological tool for directing your focus.
So if you are someone trying to optimize your relationships or your career, health, finances, we are breaking down the exact toolkit Byrne suggests for turning those abstract desires into reality.
And it's an interesting toolkit because a lot of people are familiar with The Secret, like the basic premise that your thoughts become things.
Right, the classic catchphrase.
Yeah. But The Power takes a fundamentally different angle. It builds heavily on that foundation, but it shifts the focus.
How so?
Well, if The Secret introduced the law of attraction, the idea that positive or negative thoughts bring matching experiences into your life, then The Power attempts to identify the specific engine driving that law.
Okay.
And according to Byrne, that engine is love. But we have to kind of detach from our conventional understanding of that word.
Right. She isn't talking about like a romance or date nights. She's framing love as a measurable frequency.
Exactly. In this framework, love is presented as a universal essence. It is the highest possible frequency you can emit.
Wow.
The text basically argues that every major discovery, every great invention, and every positive transformation in human history stems from this singular mighty force. It's the ultimate creative material of the universe.
So it's like the building blocks of everything good.
Yes. And when you consciously choose to think positively and embrace love in your everyday interactions, the claim is that you are aligning yourself with an energetic frequency that literally, physically magnetizes positive outcomes toward you.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. Think of your mind like a radio dial.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. So according to Byrne's framework, your thoughts aren't just empty words echoing in your skull.
Yeah.
They are actively emitting specific frequencies out into the world.
Right, a constant broadcast.
Exactly. So if you wake up and your internal dial is tuned to, say, complaining FM, you're annoyed about the traffic, stressing over your boss, frustrated with the weather, you physically cannot receive the broadcast for Opportunity AM.
Because you're on the wrong frequency.
Right. The music of abundance is playing, but your hardware is locked onto the wrong station.
Pushing that radio analogy further, the universe in this philosophy is essentially a passive receiver and reflector.
So it doesn't care what you're playing?
Not at all. It doesn't judge what are broadcasting. It simply matches it.
Yep.
When we operate from a place of love tuning to that high-frequency station, we stop broadcasting resistance. We release the static of negative energy.
That makes sense.
And by doing that, we align with the universe's creative frequency, and it reflects that broadcast back as lived experience. It's framed as this continuous, unbreakable feedback loop.
See, this is where my brain hits a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if thoughts are radio frequencies, that implies I can just think happy thoughts to fix my life. Let's look at the friction of actually doing this.
Okay, let's look at it.
If I am staring at a stack of past due bills, looking in the mirror and chanting, "I am rich," feels, well, like lying to myself. It creates massive anxiety because my current reality violently contradicts my words.
And that cognitive dissonance is the exact trap so many people fall into when they first try to apply the law of attraction.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Rote positive thinking, as outlined by Byrne and highlighted in those bookie summaries we looked at, is entirely ineffective if it is just blind, robotic optimism.
So just repeating the words doesn't work.
No. The missing link, the element that actually powers the broadcast, is emotion.
Okay. So if the words are the radio station, the emotion is the power of the transmitter.
What's fascinating here is that emotions are the amplifier. It's not enough to merely think a positive thought, you must deeply feel it.
Right.
The text suggests that words without emotion are energetically inert. They just don't do anything. If you say, "I am wealthy," while your chest is tight with the panic of being broke, the universe isn't hearing the word wealthy.
What is it hearing?
It's receiving the blaring emotional frequency of panic and lack. You have to develop an emotional state that matches the desire before the desire actually manifests in physical reality.
Wait, that sounds completely counterintuitive to human psychology.
It does, yeah.
I mean, we are wired to react to our environment. We think, I will be happy when I get the promotion, or I will feel secure when the debt is paid off.
Right, the classic conditional happiness.
Exactly. Byrne is basically demanding that we hack our own nervous systems to feel the joy, the relief, and the love in the present moment while we are still sitting in the struggle.
You have to embody the feeling of the goal. If you want a fulfilling romantic relationship, you have to actively cultivate and embody the feeling of joy and love in your current life with yourself, your friends, your environment, before that specific partner even arrives.
That takes some serious mental gymnastics.
It does. The text points to a very specific cognitive shift required to manage this. You have to become acutely aware of your daily limiting beliefs, that subconscious negative self-talk, and immediately reframe them into present tense realities.
But how do you do that without it feeling like complete delusion? Like, if my project at work is actively failing, I can't just pretend it isn't.
Well, the reframing isn't about ignoring the failure. It's about shifting your identity in relation to it.
Okay, give me an example.
Instead of thinking, "I can't save this project, I'm going to get fired," which broadcasts a frequency of incompetence and fear, you consciously reframe it. You change it to, "I am capable of finding solutions."
I see.
Notice the present tense language, "I am." You aren't saying, "I will figure this out tomorrow." You are stating your capability as a current reality. This psychological shift aligns your emotional state with the outcome of being a problem solver.
So you are essentially forcing your brain to accept the future state as a current fact.
Precisely.
But knowing we need to combine present tense thoughts with high-frequency emotions is great in theory. Applying it on a random Tuesday when you are exhausted and overwhelmed, that requires practical tools.
Which is why the sources dedicate so much time to the actual practices.
Right, like visualization and vision boards.
Yeah.
I have always viewed a vision board like setting a destination in a GPS.
Yeah.
It is crucial to know where you are going, but setting the GPS doesn't magically teleport the car. You still have to drive.
It is a GPS, but in this framework, it is a GPS that constantly recalculates the route based entirely on your emotional state. Visualization is the daily bridge between your current reality and your future desires.
How do you build that bridge, practically speaking?
Well, to make that bridge structurally sound, the bookie summary emphasizes that the practice must be total sensory immersion. You don't just briefly picture a new car and go about your day.
So no fleeting daydreams.
No. You need a quiet space, completely free from distractions, to center your mind. Then you have to engage every single sense.
We're talking about sight, sound, smell, touch, everything.
Everything.
So if the goal is a promotion, you aren't just visualizing a new job title on an org chart. You have to visualize the specific sound of your boss's voice congratulating you.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine the smell of the coffee in the new corner office.
Exactly. You get granular with it.
You feel the physical texture of the new chair. You experience the relief and pride in your stomach as if it is happening right then, in real time.
And that level of sensory immersion is what bypasses the logical, skeptical brain and essentially tricks the subconscious.
Tricking it into believing it's real.
Yeah. By experiencing the event internally with such vivid detail, you generate the high vibrational positive emotion we discussed earlier. The subconscious mind actually cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a real physical experience. It registers the emotion as an absolute fact.
Let's ground this in practical neurology for a second, because there is a very real psychological mechanism at play here too. The reticular activating system, or the RAS.
Yes, the brain's filtering system.
Right. It's that bundle of nerves at the brainstem that filters out unnecessary information. It's the reason why, when you decide you want to buy a specific red car, you suddenly see that exact red car everywhere on the highway.
They were always there, but your RAS was filtering them out.
Exactly. By spending 5 minutes a day doing this intense, sensory-rich visualization of your goal, you are literally programming your RAS to spot the opportunities you've been missing.
And that psychological parallel perfectly illustrates the text's concept of inspired action.
Inspired action.
Yeah, when you program the destination through visualization, your brain, or the universe, depending on your lens, starts highlighting pathways. But like you said earlier, you still have to drive the car.
Right. The teleportation still hasn't been invented.
Sadly, no. The universe responds to action. As you hold these high frequencies, you will start to notice your intuition nudging you, or seemingly coincidental signs appearing.
Like your RAS suddenly flagging a casual comment a coworker makes as a massive opportunity. Something you would have entirely ignored if you hadn't been vividly visualizing that promotion every single morning.
Exactly. And when those moments occur, the philosophy dictates you must take action. If you feel inspired to take a different route to work, or speak up in a meeting, or email a distant contact, you have to just do it.
You can't just sit back and watch it pass.
No. Those small steps signal to the universe not only your commitment to the goal, but your readiness to receive it. Visualization pulls the future toward you, but inspired action is you actively walking forward to meet it halfway.
Which brings us to the inevitable problem. What happens when you hit a pothole on that walk?
Oh, the roadblocks. They always happen.
Always. Visualization focuses heavily on the future destination, but we have to maintain this high-frequency broadcast in the messy present moment. Your car breaks down, your rent gets hiked, or you get a terrible performance review.
It's life.
Yeah, and it feels biologically impossible to stay on the frequency of love when you're dealing with a crisis.
The book addresses this reality directly, and the countermeasure is unequivocally gratitude.
Just saying thank you.
Well, we have to redefine gratitude for this context. It is not a passive, polite social convention where you say thank you when someone hands you a coffee. Gratitude here is framed as an active, deliberate tool to forcibly shift your mind from a state of lack to a state of abundance.
Because human nature naturally defaults to focusing on the lack. We scan our environment for threats all the time.
It's a survival mechanism.
Yeah. We look at our bank accounts and obsess over the money that isn't there. We look at our relationships and fixate on what our partner is failing to do.
And the law of attraction dictates that focusing on lack actively attracts more lack. Your radio dial is tuned to the frequency of not enough, so the universe delivers more experiences of not enough.
Sounds like a vicious cycle.
It really is. By actively choosing gratitude, even for the smallest, seemingly insignificant aspects of your current life, you immediately interrupt that broadcast.
It's like a biological override. You actually cannot hold a state of deep, genuine gratitude and acute panic in your nervous system at the exact same time.
You literally can't.
So gratitude is the mechanism you use to force the radio dial back to opportunity AM when it inevitably tries to slip back over to complaining FM.
The key technique from the text takes this a step further, though. It requires feeling gratitude as if your future desires have already been fulfilled.
Wait, really? Gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet?
Yes. This is where gratitude and visualization merge into a single practice. You aren't just thankful for the apartment you currently live in, you are expressing deep emotional gratitude for the financial freedom you are currently manifesting. You allow yourself to feel the relief and joy of that future state today.
How does Byrne suggest building that kind of robust mental habit? Because, it's very easy to be grateful when the sun is shining and you just got a bonus.
Oh, of course.
But accessing that feeling when you are late on rent requires some serious emotional muscle memory.
It does. The bookie summary points to practical daily applications to build that muscle. Keeping a daily gratitude journal is highly recommended.
Just writing it down.
Yeah, the physical act of writing slows down your thoughts and forces you to actually articulate the positive. Reflecting on positive experiences every evening before sleep is another really good method, as it primes the subconscious before a long period of rest.
That makes a lot of sense.
You can even voice your gratitude out loud during your daily commute.
So the specific method matters less than the absolute consistency of the practice.
Exactly. When you consistently express genuine gratitude, you emit a stable, positive energy that connects you directly to the creative power of the universe. Furthermore, this active practice fosters immense self-belief.
It builds confidence.
Huge confidence. When you constantly acknowledge the good in your life and the capabilities you possess, you construct an internal narrative of success and worthiness. That self-belief provides the exact confidence needed to step out of your comfort zone and execute the inspired action we discussed earlier.
So let's bring all these pieces together for you. If you are looking at Rhonda Byrne's The Power, the law of attraction is not a passive wishing well where you just hope good things happen. It is an active, mechanical process.
Very mechanical.
It begins by tuning your fundamental frequency to love, which the book defines as the highest creative energy state. You then have to combine present tense affirmations with genuine, deeply felt emotion, because words without emotion are just static on the radio dial.
Right. And from there, you build the bridge to your goals by visualizing with total sensory immersion to basically trick your subconscious. You take immediate inspired action when your intuition or your newly programmed reticular activating system highlights an opportunity.
And you anchor this entire process in an active, rigorous daily practice of gratitude, ensuring your baseline mindset remains locked on abundance rather than lack.
That's the formula right there.
And it is so vital to recognize the universal utility of these tools. I mean, you don't have to believe in cosmic frequencies or a universe that actively listens to your thoughts to get massive value out of this.
Not at all.
If you simply view this as a highly effective psychological framework for building resilience, the results are remarkably similar. Practices like gratitude journaling, vividly visualizing success, and rewriting your internal script from "I can't" to "I am capable" are undeniably powerful tools for your personal growth toolkit.
They systematically train your brain to filter out the noise, seek out opportunities, and build the internal confidence necessary to actually act on them. It is practical psychology wrapped in a compelling metaphysical philosophy.
There really is.
But as we wrap up our analysis, exploring the literal interpretation of this philosophy leaves us with a pretty fascinating paradox to consider.
Ooh, a paradox in the mechanics of the universe. I love this. Let's hear it.
If our deeply felt thoughts and emotional frequencies truly dictate the physical reality we attract, what happens when two different people passionately visualize and demand entirely opposing outcomes for the exact same situation?
Oh, wow.
Right. Imagine two athletes in the Olympic finals. Both are passionately visualizing themselves winning the exact same gold medal. Both are vibrating at the frequency of love and success. Both are engaging every sense in their visualization, and both are expressing deep gratitude as if they have already won.
That is a phenomenal question. If the universe is just a mirror that simply reflects our broadcast back to us, what happens when two mirrors are facing each other, projecting conflicting images?
It's a real conundrum.
How does the universe decide whose frequency wins out? Does the raw intensity of the emotion dictate the victor, or is there another hidden variable in the law of attraction at play?
That is the conceptual friction the book leaves somewhat ambiguous, and I think it really challenges the limits of the framework.
And that is definitely something for you to mull over today as you go about your routine. As you do, remember our invisible force from the beginning of the deep dive. Just like gravity is always pulling, your thoughts and emotions are always attracting something. You might not be able to physically see the frequency, but you have complete control over the dial. Choose your station wisely.